Okay, the next one I'm going to show you is, it's basically downward facing dog, but on a wall. Unfortunately, because of the way the camera's set up, if I do it on the wall, it's gonna be having my bottom pointing at you. So I'll show you briefly the setup on the wall, but then I will do it on the shelf, just so that you can sort of see the sideways perspective. It's a really good version for those of you who've got super tight hamstrings. So when you do things like downward facing dog, you end up with kind of like sort of really rounded backs and things like that, because your hamstrings are really, sorry, I'm trying to get this right. You know, if you really struggle with a downward facing dog, the box on the wall is a way to kind of get into it really gently, without the weight on the hands, and where you can actually try and target the hips a little bit better. So the setup is with yourself on a wall, and I'll talk you through the various bits and pieces, but I'm going to have to use a shelf to try and do this pose. So the feet are hip width apart, and the heels are under your sitting bones, and you're trying to make as much of an L shape with your upper body as you can. So not up here, not bowing like a lot. You want to try and get an L shape as much as possible. My hands are probably a bit higher than they should be because of the shelf, but you would have your hands, your wrists, about hip height, maybe slightly higher, and then they are shoulder width apart. You really press through the hands to try and lengthen the upper body. If you're really struggling, and as I say, you've got really tight hamstrings and you're kind of rounding the back a lot, you can bend the knees, come a bit lower, bend the knees to try and stick the bottom out more, and then just keep the knees bent until such time as you can start to get a bit more flexibility. And then you're trying to stick the bottom out, but you're trying not to kind of cave in. You are trying to keep some lift in the lower ribs, and then softening in the it's the armpits that we're trying to stretch here, and breathing. So while you're in the pose, pull up your kneecaps, quads are engaged, and as I say, bottom is stuck up, but you're not trying to bow the back, you're trying to keep some kind of lift in the lower ribs, and really breathing, to try, and then using the exhales to go and soften in the shoulder region. So we're trying to soften around here. So I always visualize it like that's, if you're going to get a banana shape anywhere in that, you're trying to get the banana shape more around the armpits than in the back. You're not trying to get a big sway back, you're trying to keep the back even and then get a bit of a banana shape in the armpits. And then that kind of helps to open the shoulders nicely. I think almost everyone in all of my classes really likes that pose. It does feel quite intense when you come out.